Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Michelle Kinney. I'm here with Julie Roginsky. You are watching the Mayday Network, and this is the Daily Dispatch. It is 1:22 p.m. on the East Coast. We have a little bit of breaking news we wanted to share with you per the Wall Street Journal. Um, before we get to it, though, Julie, usually if it's Trump news and it's coming through the Journal, I mean, you worked for News Corps, so what are your feelings
I mean,
about the sourcing
yeah,
there?
the Journal has been doing some great, I have to say, great reporting. I mean, fantastic reporting over the last few days. The news, I guess we could say, is that Trump, according to the Wall Street Journal, if you want to put this up on the screen, is that Trump is preparing to fire Kristi Noem. Now, will Trump change his mind because he'll want to stick it to the media, which by saying I'm not firing her? But I watched those hearings yesterday, Michelle, and I said, this is the end of Kristi Noem. And everybody, the Journal is saying, in this very, very short breaking news story, that it's because of the ads that she's been doing. If you've flown through airports in the last year, as I have, you will see, as you're waiting in the very long TSA line to go through security, you will see huge TV monitors with Kristi Noem, her face, delivering messaging to you. And it's interminable because you're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And you have no choice but to look up and look at this monster talking about, I don't know, whatever. It's not anything like welcome to the United States. It's like, basically get out of here if you're not legal.
Right.
First of all, Trump does not want anybody else highlighting themselves. That's not Donald Trump. Mistake number one was putting her face on that and not his.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's more than that. I think it's the questions about her sleeping with Lewandowski.
I 100% think this also.
Trump does not like that. He's okay with the gossip. He's okay joking about it.
Yeah.
But he does not like other people spending money that he feels should be going to him on a luxury jet with a bedroom where they could have sex with each other.
Yeah.
And all of the setbacks, if the immigration issue were going well for him, I think he might overlook it. But the reality is it's not going well for him.
Yeah.
He had to replace her in Minnesota with Tom Homan. The numbers, which he pays attention to tremendously, are going down, down, down in immigration, a signature issue. He's underwater on the issue of immigration. So she's not doing anything for him. And she's causing a lot of problems. And Democrats have said they're not going to reopen the Department of Homeland Security until she's gone.
Right.
So she's got to go. And she made a big mistake thinking that she was going to be competing with him in terms of high profile. Stupid, stupid, stupid.
Very stupid. And I think, again, a lot of people in Trump's orbit seem to think, well, first of all, they get a little big for their britches, right? They're over their skis, as they say. They get a little bit too confident because they're able to, I don't know, kind of do their thing without any accountability. Even before she became DHS secretary, I mean, during the campaign, she was like campaigning with him. She was on the trail with him. And again, we talked about this yesterday. The story with her and Corey Lewandowski goes back to summer of 2023. So this has been something that's been going. And also, Corey Lewandowski has got a bit of a reputation on his own. Hope Hicks, other people, won't get into it. But I think you're exactly right, Julie. I think that Donald Trump doesn't like the spotlight taken away from himself unless somehow that shine is like reflecting onto him and it's making him look good by, you know what I mean, by association. But no longer does anything about her make him feel like she's serving him. And Donald Trump doesn't do anything and he doesn't help anyone unless it's serving him. And she's an embarrassment. And I have to give it to the Democrats. We watched some of the clips on this yesterday. Jamie Raskin, Jared Moskowitz, all of them asking questions in a way that really kind of embarrassed her. And like asking about her blankie, talking about the hundreds of millions of dollars that has been spent not only on the jets, but on the photo shoots and the ads, all for her, not for anybody else. And, I think that yesterday was the nail in the coffin. I really do. And I mean, listen, and I would guess that if it's in the Journal and the Journal's reporting this, that the White House is likely the source on this. That would be my guess.
Yeah, I mean, it is, and the fact that the White House wouldn't respond is interesting. Don't forget, he was about to fire her right after Minneapolis, and then she and Corey Lewandowski went in there and worked their magic, and Corey Lewandowski knows him like the back of his hand because he knows what it takes to get Trump, happy from all the years that he worked for him.
Yeah.
But again, I think if the numbers were good, it would be fine. But the numbers are not good. The numbers are really, really shitty. Yeah. And on his signature issue. And so what exactly, if you're Trump, you're like, what's this woman doing for me? She took my number one signature issue that I had tremendous numbers on, and he's never going to blame himself for it.
Right.
She ran it into the ground because she and Corey, I guarantee you, this is what Donald Trump thinks. She and Corey were too busy fucking, excuse my language, this is how Donald Trump speaks, to focus on the mission at hand, which is to make me look good on my number one signature issue.
100%.
That is how he thinks. And he's not wrong. And there are a tremendous number of people with whom they've been feuding. Tom Homan hates them. They hate him. At a border, like everybody who they deal with hates them. And they've been running roughshod over everybody. She is a former governor, so she thinks that she's going to run DHS the way that she ran South Dakota, which is that she's in charge. And the reality is there's only one person in charge, and it's Donald Trump. And he does not want anybody else behaving that way. Yeah. The fact that she wouldn't deny sleeping with Lewandowski, I think was the final nail in the coffin yesterday.
Yeah, because I mean, here's another thing. Every time Donald Trump has gotten close to like kicking somebody to the curb, firing them, getting rid of them, like, withdrawing their nomination, blah, blah, blah. We're talking Pete Hegseth. We're talking about Brett Kavanaugh, right? He likes these people to go out and really stick it to the libs and fight back and yell and make great TV, right? Also, let's be real here. Kristi Noem's a woman. He has less respect for her, like starting just at the starting line, right? He's like, what is this, what's this broad thing she's doing? I'm just guessing like what, he's saying, and probably much worse than that. But this is not behavior that he's ever going to sign on to, especially when, again, like she gets up in front of all of these Democrats who legitimately, like, they just steamrolled over her and really embarrassed her. And also just really kind of showed how she's not smart. She's not a smart person.
She tried to pull her best Pam Bondi, where she tried to be combative.
Yeah, she's rude.
But the reality in Pam Bondi, that was a disgrace.
Yeah.
But the difference between her and Pam Bondi is this. Nobody went after Pam Bondi personally. Nobody said, hey, Pam Bondi.
Yeah.
You were in the Epstein files. You had some sort of inappropriate relationship with Jeffrey.
Are you sleeping with your deputy?
Like, sleeping with the deputy? Like, and I said this yesterday, I have a very hard time with people asking if somebody of women about their sexual behavior when they never ask men that question. So I have a very hard time with that. However, enough credible outlets, including ProPublica, which is the last place you would consider to be sensationalist, published that she's having an affair with Corey Lewandowski.
Right.
And if that becomes a narrative that you don't dispel right away, it becomes a problem. And at the end of the day, he works for her. Now, you might argue the way he's been behaving, not around, he works, everybody at DHS works for him, and he's really the secretary of Homeland Security.
Dynamics there are
but you have Homeland Security, who is supposed to be coordinating the security of the homeland. I mean, literally, right?
Yeah.
And yet, at a time when we're at war with Iran, the number one state sponsor of terrorism, friends, I don't want to say it's a question of if, but when there's going to be an attack on the homeland here, because nothing like this ever goes unpunished.
I've been thinking about it all.
And this is what we're focusing on, whether she's sleeping with her deputy, whether she's up at Newark Airport or at JFK and all over the country, at, Dallas, Fort Worth, and at O'Hare and at LAX and every other major airport in the country with her face plastered all over these TV monitors as people are waiting to go through security, and you have no choice but to look up at her. I mean, she's not the president.
Yeah.
She's not the president.
No.
And that is a big sin. The fact that she bought 2 of these jets. Trump, you're like, wait a second, only I get to fly around on a plane like this.
Yeah. I remember, I think it was last year, she was being questioned just about the budget and the amount of money that she was spending at the speed that she was spending it. And the member said to her, like, excuse me, Secretary Noem, like, you don't have the money. Like, you're going to run out of money before the fiscal or whatever it was, the fiscal year was over. I forget what the parameters were, and she was like, like, it didn't phase her, because I think she was just like, well, I'm just going to keep spending the money. And if you don't have it, then I guess you don't have it, but I'm going to keep spending it. And these people are mentally ill. These people are mentally ill, crazy people. And again, you and I have talked about this, about how when this is all over, and it will be over someday, that there will be tribunals, there will be trials.
She should be first.
She should be first. She should be first. And on her way out, I don't foresee any scenario where Donald Trump's going to save her ass, quite frankly. I mean, I guess anything can happen, and there's another piece of this too. And we've talked about this, in relation to the twinkle in his eye that he gets when he's around Zohran Mamdani. And then he's like a New York guy, you know what I mean? Like he's like, even though he doesn't really like him, he likes him, I think, because they're from the same place. And he must look around this administration of his and have to look at people like Kristi Noem. Kristi Noem, somebody who 15 years ago, he wouldn't be caught dead sitting in the same room with. He's like, you podunk, like nobody, cowboy hat wearing loser. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, and he's got like the G team running his administration because it's all that's left. And this is, these are the morons that he has working. I mean, listen, he's crazy and he's a monster and whatever on his own right. But it's interesting to me. Like, these are the people we're dealing with. Kristi Noem, and Corey Lewandowski. These are the people we're dealing with. It's really something.
Corey Lewandowski, again, you never really leave Trump's orbit, right? Like, I bet you even Michael Cohen will find his way back to Trump's orbit. You don't ever
already on his way.
There's no permanent banishment from Trump's orbit. And Corey Lewandowski was fired, and then he came back, and then he was fired again, and now he's back. And the only reason he's back with Kristi Noem is obviously they're having a personal relationship, and God knows how much money he's grifting off of her, because again, he can have outside income. I want to know, by the way, remember that Rolex she was wearing, that $50,000 or $30,000 Rolex? This woman's been a public servant for her entire career. She was a congresswoman, then she became a governor, and now she works at DHS. Her salary has not exceeded $200,000 in decades.
Where'd that come from?
Where'd that come from? I don't know what her husband does, but where'd that come from? Her husband, who sat there like, the Silda Spitzer behind her, like, talk about Tammy Wynette, stand by your man. I mean, I don't know what arrangement they have, but I wouldn't be showing up to that. I mean, God bless. Listen, I'm not going to judge anybody else's marriage, right?
No, of course not.
Maybe for all I know, he's totally fine with her having a relationship with Corey Lewandowski.
Maybe he's got his own. We don't know.
He's got his own. God bless. I hope they're all very happy sleeping with
whatever works.
Or nobody at all. But sitting there behind her as she's being questioned, because I think she specifically put him there because she thought they wouldn't ask the question because he was there.
Yep. It's like, honey, you're going to be behind me. So when they ask a question about if I'm sleeping with Corey, you know what I mean? It's just like, I
love the South Dakota accent. Love.
It's so weird. And I mean, like, it's not weird. It's just geographically, it's just funny to me how like upstate New York into like the Midwest, Chicago into like the Dakotas, it's just kind of this progression of like nasally sounding vowels. But there's studies I've read about it. Anyways, it's South Dakota, and she has or she North Dakota. She's South Dakota? South Dakota. She's one of the Dakotas. Which one is she? I don't remember.
South.
She's South. Okay. Which is right. Okay. The black. Okay. Yeah, she listen. I you have to wonder too at the end of this, and again, this will be the end of there will be an end someday, how we will look back at Kristi Noem. Will it be as a blip? Like we think of like Carter Page, you know what I mean? But I don't think so. I mean, like the damage that she has done to this country and to the people, the deaths on her watch. And I'm not just talking about the Americans that are being shot in the streets. I'm talking about the people who were dying in detention camps on American soil, the people who have been sent to CCOT, South Sudan, under her watch, or on her watch rather.
No,
I won't. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to be very clear. Alligator Alley.
Yeah.
CCOT.
Mm-hmm.
Delaney Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Little Liam.
Mm-hmm. All of it.
The 2 dead Americans in Minneapolis. The 1 dead American in Texas that nobody talks about.
Yep.
The destruction of people's lives. The deportation of people who've lived here their entire lives, who are dreamers.
Yeah.
Cricket.
Poor dog.
All of it.
Yeah.
All of it.
Again, like this is, I mean, peacocking for Donald Trump then, like putting in her book that she killed her dog.
I mean, all
People
of
are
it.
sick.
This woman is sick. This woman is a criminal. This woman, if there's any justice in the world, and I swear to the sweet baby Jesus, they better fucking have tribunals when the next Democrat comes in. I want indictments.
Yeah.
I don't care. Listen, if he pardons her on his way out the door, I don't arrest her on cricket. That's a state charge. I mean, South Dakota's never going to indict somebody. They're not going to do it. I don't care what you hound her for, but she needs to be hounded for the rest of her life. This woman is a criminal. She should be in the dock.
Yeah.
And she's a criminal of a level that is unique to this country.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, when the history of the United States is written, I hope the history books have Kristi Noem's name in it.
Oh, I hope so too.
I hope so. I hope it's not just like the Trump administration. Like, we need to know. Our children, our grandchildren, future generations need to know what this woman did. She's responsible for deaths,
torture,
suffering. I mean, we are not bound by the Geneva Conventions, but my God,
you should be. We
should be based on this.
No one holds us accountable. We don't even hold ourselves accountable.
We better hold ourselves accountable. If there is any future for the United States of America as a beacon of democracy, we have got to hold ourselves accountable.
Yeah.
Like, we have to hold ourselves accountable. And it starts with somebody like her. And I hope and pray. And if anybody's interested in doing this, I will spend the rest of my life dedicated to this cause. We have got to amend the Constitution to get rid of the pardon power for the President of the United States. It empowers criminality. It's
like the last piece of monarchy that was left over.
I mean, I am sorry. We have a jury system in this country, and the President of the United States should not, by any stretch of the imagination, be more powerful than a jury of your peers. Otherwise, we don't have a country, we don't have a democracy, we don't have a justice system.
Yep.
So I am telling you right now, this woman is in the dock first. I know there's a lot of competition. I get it. And I appreciate it. But you tell me who's worse than Kristi Noem.
She's earned it. She's earned it.
Fucking rabid monster who has destroyed lives. And the worst thing that's going to happen to her is that she's about to get fired, potentially, ignominiously. And somebody accused her in an open hearing of banging her subordinate. You know what? That's not that bad. She'll go on to make a shitload of money. Listen,
if she was a man, I don't know that they'd be bringing it up. You know what I mean? But like they are, because the two of them are just like I really just I cannot emphasize enough the sickness of this culture that we live in that is so self-absorbed and centered. And I say this all the time. That all of these people just wanted to be in the drama club and they didn't get a part in the show. And so they decided to go into government and ruin the world. And she's one of them, with the costumes and the photo shoots. I mean, like there's something seriously wrong. And I blame, I blame the reality TV culture for kind of starting a lot of this. And the influencer culture kind of picked up the baton where they left off. And here we are with this reality TV. The Apprentice meets the Hunger Games, to quote Tara Setmayer. And that's the administration that is running this country, is the Hunger Games and the Apprentice, the Celebrity Apprentice. And it's vapid, it's cruel, it's soulless, it's violent, it's misogynistic. I look around and like I recognize my country, but because I'm like, well, of course, but also, who would have thought 15 years ago that we'd be sitting here having this conversation? Not me.
Not me.
And I just for people who don't have the Wall Street Journal, because I believe it's behind a paywall, I just want to read some of this here, that President Trump preparing to fire Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. President has already been asking aides and congressional Republicans for names of potential replacements, the advisor said. A spokeswoman for the Department of Homeland Security said Secretary Noem serves at the pleasure of the president. White House didn't respond for comment. The final straw for Trump was Noem's combative hearing Tuesday before the Senate Judiciary Committee, which showed bipartisan frustration with Noem's leadership. Noem's decision to allot $200 million for an ad campaign featuring herself, urging those living illegally in the U.S. to self-deport, had already rankled the president for months for its self-promotional style. At the hearing, Noem told senators that the president had signed off on the ad campaign, an assertion that upset Trump, who told senators and advisors he had not signed off on such a campaign. Trump does, however, frequently change his mind, to Julie's point here that she just said a couple moments ago, especially when it comes to firing officials. He has previously told aides he doesn't want to make personnel decisions based on Democratic messaging or media pressure. So, listen, Sarah Palin walked so that Kristi Noem could run. You know what I mean? I blame my former employers for all that, or one of them in particular. But yeah. And here we are. Julie.
She belongs in the dock. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep.
Who knows if this is even going to happen? I mean, Trump could just be like, let's take it to the Wall Street Journal and not let her.
Yeah. I'm reading the comment. At least Sarah saw Russia.
That's true. I mean, this chick doesn't see anything beyond her bedroom and her plane.
Or just swollen face and bad skin texture. I just. Well, we'll have to wait and see. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff in the news right now. It's pretty nonstop, and we'd like to come back. Hopefully at some point today or tomorrow, talk about the holy war that the GOP is also waging. But these are all just tentacles of the same monster, and it's hard to keep track of. But we'll do our best here to keep
as
the
much
conversation going.
As much as we've been led to believe for the last 30 years that, you've got Iraqis and so on, Iranians, everybody wanting to wage a holy war, jihad against us, which is really just a word for holy war. Mm-hmm. And as much as, you know, the whole joke, like Pete Hegseth is also counting on 70 virgins up in heaven. Like he's no different from these people.
And he's got all that weird shit on his body that he's
Oh, I wrote a whole column.
I wrote who these people were.
I wrote a whole column on it. The whole Crusader. He's cosplaying a Crusader. We're gonna have a whole separate dispatch about that, which we should. Friends, it is good to see you all here today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for anybody who joined us with Olga Lautman and David Kramer at 11 o'clock Eastern for our great Pax Americana. That was actually a great conversation.
It was. I listened.
As we said, Michelle, you have you're working on a promo for our Americans, which is fantastic. When you guys hear it, you're gonna.
I'm in the editing hole right now, so I'm like, let me throw on a sweatshirt and jump on the computer, because that's where I'm living right now. But it's a good place, and hopefully we'll have that out in the next day or so. So
fantastic. All right, folks, great to see you, and we will see everybody soon. Bye.
Bye, everybody.